to sat in the chair just a little bit. Okay. Let me try. Not at all. I'm so nosy, y'all. I am nosy out the window. I'd be better to just close the windows, especially when I be going live, because I was really nosy out the window the other day. It was coppers out here and stuff. I was really nosy out the window the other day. Welcome, 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 you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is just Sylvie, and I am here with you on this great Wednesday, just bringing y'all a little bit of that fold with the one in the middle for a little bit of balance. We all need a little bit of balance in our lives. Why? Because you see things this way, they see things that way, and if we just come together for a little bit of effective communication, my bad, we might be able to come to an understanding about some things. It's not particularly going to change our views, but to understand is much better than to be just walking around like two bulls just pounding. Understanding means you at least feel for why someone says or feels a certain way about a thing. You know, you may be able to have some compassion for why someone feels a certain way about a thing instead of just being so very closed-minded to it. But that to say that your views don't have to be my views and my views don't have to be your views, and I can't trample my views to make you feel good about your views, neither can you trample your views to make me feel good about my views. But let's talk about it and see if we can find a mutual place. You feel me? To just let the other live. But when your views begin to try to infringe on my rights, I don't gotta bow down to how you view things in this world. Vice versa. And there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of wanting people to bow down. You want people to understand and let people live their lives, cool beans. But you want me to bow down when I feel a way about something? I said all that because I wasn't even going to talk about this. But I'm going to go ahead on and start off with Snoop Dogg and his grandson. And I'm going to talk about Tasha K and her son in the process of talking about that as well. So Snoop Dogg and his grandson is at the movies. And they're watching Lightyear, which is the new Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear movie. I think they said Keke Palmer is in it. And they begin to speak on the two women having a baby. I may not have even talked to my child about a man and a woman having a baby yet. But you're telling me that when I take my child to a child's movie, a children's movie, I now have to open up a conversation about talking to my child about two women having a baby. Now, I'm going to say that Snoop Dogg's grandson probably had gotten a talk about a man and a woman having a baby because he asked. But two women can have a baby? Pop, pop. For one, And I am let every man have their way. Live how you choose to live. Do what you choose to do, especially as an adult. But I am always team protect children. For one, that was Snoop Dogg's grandson. It was not Snoop Dogg's son. Those are conversations that parents have with their children, not grandparents, unless the grandparent is raising the child. For two, if he ain't know that that was about to pop up in that movie, he had every right to be caught off guard and not know what he was going to say to that baby. For three, for everybody going around talking about the kind of music that Snoop Dogg had in his videos. Welcome, 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 you guys. I thank you for sitting with me a spell, and I hope that you would like, share, and subscribe. Everybody talking about all of the things that Snoop Dogg had going on in his music. Do you know that Snoop Dogg let his grandson watch his music? Those were emotional comments right there. We know the things that Snoop Dogg rapped about. We know the way that his videos look, but what we don't know, because he don't even have no control over whether his grandchild watches that type of music or not. Again, his parents do. So for us to be out here all awry, and I like the way Storm Monroe put it. Storm Monroe tries to bring a balance to the LGBT. Look, this is Sylvie Ford. This is just Sylvie. We talk balance over here. It's a lot of people that don't have children that try to chime in on this conversation, and you don't know what. You could say everything till you blue in the face. But there would be a thing with your children that somebody would want to teach that you're not going to want your children to learn if you have not yet talked about it. And you won't know that until you have a child. So one thing has nothing to do with the other. He ain't infringed on not one LGBTQ right. He's not done any of that. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the story about Tasha K, because that's just my viewpoint on that. Parents, he was not a parent. He wasn't obligated to have that conversation with his grandson. The parents are, when they're ready. Maybe they have had a conversation about how babies are made, but that's how babies are made. Any other way is genetically modified. That is up to the parent. And yes, you can say, if the parent don't talk to them, the schools will. If the parent go out to the school and press those issues, go to their local authorities and press those issues, then that's up to the parent. But when we begin to infringe on parent, woe to the person that think just because it's something that you feel, which is an emotion, very, very greatly about, because I can't think of the word that I want to use right now. Think about if it was something that you wouldn't want your child to learn, that they began to try to teach your child. Or are you going to be the parent that's up for your child learning everything and anything outside of your home? That's all I have to say about that. Now, Tasha K was sending Lamine over there to Taiwan. He was over there in Taiwan. He was with Nanny, and he was on a little play date with a little Taiwan friend. And she said that Lamine is her little boy, and Lamine is 6, and the little boy that we're going to be talking about was 7. And so they're over there and they're playing, and Lamine likes to wrestle, so they're wrestling. You know, little boys wrestle. Sometimes little girls wrestle. I was a little tomboy like little girl. You might find me wrestling. You might find me playing football and all of that good jazz. Sometimes things like that go down. So the little boy wound up kissing Lamine on the neck. And they are no longer friends. Tasha K said that her husband said he cannot go over there anymore. And she says that the mother, I think that they said that the father maybe not in the picture, but the mother was trying to explain it away. But Tasha K said Lamine is only affectionate with her. Lamine has a whole daddy and a sister. Lamine is only affectionate with his mother. So now she has to, what? Try to explain that to her son? Why a baby wanted to kiss him on the neck when he is only affectionate with his mother? That is, you toe the line when you start trying to force parents. Because just like I just stated with Snoop Dogg, woe to the person that may not have children, and even the person that has children, because you teach your children this or you teach your children that. Woe to you when there is something trying to be taught that you are absolutely against, and the next person is saying, well, you need to be teaching your children this or they're going to learn it that way. Don't forget, there's a letter that they're trying to add. There's 4 letters that they are working on trying to add to the LGBTQIA. And it is MAPS. Minor Attracted Persons. Because they feel like that's right. There is a group out there that feels like it is okay that they love up on your babies. So is that going to be when they start really trying to fight for their rights? Or are you going to say that that's morally not okay? Because the truth be told, it's been being done since the beginning of time. You remember the color purple? You remember how old Celie was when her daddy gave her the mister? Even in the Bible, there were young girls that were with grown men. Never ever, in a million years, biblical or not, do I believe that it is okay for an adult to be loving up on a child. Period. Period. But somebody does. And it may come a day where they're trying to force that down your throat. We can't force somebody to believe like we believe. Nor can we condemn somebody. He didn't even say any, Snoop Dogg ain't say nothing disrespectful. Tasha K husband told her he can't hang with that little boy no more. And so her nanny, she hasn't spoken with the mother, but her nanny went and spoke with the mother and was like, no more play dates. But Snoop Dogg said nothing disrespectful. He was thrown off guard. He was like, he said he's not taking his grandson to the movie. Maybe he like, I'm going to leave that up to the parents. Because if the parents is there for him, the parents can respond how they want to respond. But I'm there with him. I don't know what to say. I am but his granddaddy. IJS, people. IJS. It's hard out here for a pimp. So, My girlfriend has sent me this story, right? Some people are so the crazies. Hashtag let's talk the crazies for a minute. So this man is sitting in his wheelchair minding his own business. And I would want to put this on race, except that the person that I'm about to tell you about, he is just the craziest. Because the man in the wheelchair that I'm about to tell you about, he was a black man, and the other man was a white man. But I can't put it on race. Because I'm going to tell you what he did in 2023 that makes me not put it on race. So the man in the wheelchair is just sitting there. He minding his own business. Then the man come up to him and he like, stolen valor, stolen valor. You won't in no military. You got all of these stripes and patches and everything all over your jacket, all over your wheelchair. You won't in no military. Let me see your ID. Who gave you authority to ask me for my ID? Who gave you authority? You came up in that jank like somebody, like you had a badge that warranted that he pull out his ID for you. So, the man, the article says that the man is reaching for his ID, and the man goes and snatches one of the patches off of his wheelchair or off of his jacket. So you just feel the need to harass a person in a wheelchair. And then he I guess he hadn't pulled out his ID in time enough when he snatched the patch off. So he's still waiting for the ID. So he then sees that the man has a gun in the holster, but the article tells you that it was an airsoft gun. And I watched the man. I don't know if this was an attorney on YouTube or if he was a body language specialist or anything like that, but he showed the video from a different angle, and he showed you that the gun was still in the holster when he was reaching. He is under the impression that the man was reaching for his ID. The man just pulled out a gun and shot the man in the chest. Pow! He pulled out a pow pow, because YouTube, and pow pow the man in the chest. The man lived. Thank you, Lord. And this man is he's been charged with felony assault, and he all up in the courthouse. Because when he finished, because they were in an open, it looks like a strip mall or something where they were. And when he finished pow-powing the man, he gonna holler, everything's okay, like he is the law. So now we get to he's charged with felony assault, and he's all up in the courthouse talking about some, Your Honor, can we reduce my charges, reduce my bail? That's what he got his lawyers. And we reduce my bail because his bail is 750 G's. Your Honor said no. Clap, 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 clap. Clap, clap, clap. And I pray that his charges are not reduced either. And I pray that he is convicted of everything that he was charged with. Because then this fool, I go and I research. I told my girlfriend whenever somebody sends me a story, I go and attempt to read other articles about it as well. So I'm online and I'm researching. This fool in 2023 rams a van into a Trump rally. They sitting up underneath a like a little, look, I'm all off today, y'all. Like a little Not a gazebo, but you know, when they a little shelter. I'm gonna say a little shelter because I can't get my words right today. That's what the nurse said on the phone from the doctor's office. She couldn't get her words right, and she done rubbed it off on me. I'm blaming her. But they're sitting up underneath a little shelter at a Trump rally, and he goes and rams his vehicle and said that it was a prank. That's why I said it's not racial. We are just dealing with the crazies. The crazies are out here. I have been praying and praying and praying all the day long. And I'm believing in the Most High, Yahuwah, to keep that cycle going because the crazies are out here. And I haven't even been praying about the crazies. I've been praying because a lot of people are falling ill and have different medical issues going on and stuff like that. So I just been all day. But that was the craziest thing. My girlfriend didn't even know that. When I told her that, she was like, wait, what? Yeah. So you can't make it racial. Unless you're going to say these were a bunch of Black MAGA supporters, but I doubt it. Like, we just dealing with the crazies on that. So the other day when I was, and we just going to hit this like real quick. Like, the other day when I was live, we was talking about SEX-less marriages. And I'm gonna read this word because this word is talking about not intermeddling in people's business, and that man intermeddled. That man intermeddled into that man's business because you wanted to know if he had any stolen valor. Like you wanted to know if he was in the military and he was minding his business and you are not an officer. This word is about to tell you you're not supposed to be intermeddling into people's business, and it's going to tell you why. But that was just crazy because that was somebody that couldn't even, I mean, they had an airsoft gun on them. But like generally when you think of somebody in a wheelchair, that's somebody that's at a disadvantage at least. I ain't even going to say they can't fend for themselves, but at the least of it, they're at a disadvantage. Y'all wanted Snoop Dogg to intermeddle in his children's parenting. This word is going to tell you that you got to be sure before you intermeddle. You ain't supposed to be just walking around just meddling. Then didn't your grandparents tell you that you're not supposed to be meddling in folks' stuff? Let's read this word, then we're going to talk about these sexless marriages, and we're going to talk about parental obligations. Because I'm going to think that the people didn't like that title, and I'm going to think that the people didn't like that title. I'm working on my title. That probably might not have been the best title to pull the people in. But it is what it is. We gonna talk, and the people will be able to hear it when I begin to edit and cut up the stuff. I should have chose a different title, but it's all good. Proverbs 26:17. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belonging not to him is like one that takes a dog by the ears. I went in to say that's almost like taking a dog by the tail. I put it in here because it says that it vexes and excites himself with a quarrel, needlessly provokes him to bark and bite. And that was the study that said that. I went in parentheses and put, my baby learned not to grab their tail. Bark and bite. While our dog did not bite her, the bark was so bad that she never did it again. And she was like 3 when she did that. And the dog had went behind the chair, and she just decided she gonna yank the dog out from behind the chair by his tail. Cause she an aggressive little mini-me 3000. She ain't never do that again. But soon as I put that, I went on, and I took a break from studying because I was on the phone. I was studying while I was on the phone, but me and my girlfriend was in some hot conversation, and so I stopped studying, and then went back, and it says Septuagint, as he who lays hold of a dog's tail, so is he who sets himself forth as a champion in another's cause. So it's telling you don't grab his tail or his ears. I don't know why I put them back on. I ain't have them on while I was reading. I put them back on when I won't read. Don't grab his tail or his ears. Can you imagine? It said it's dangerous to grab it, but equally as dangerous to let it go, especially if you yanking and pulling on his little old ears, because most of the time dog got little old ears, and you just want to be yanking and grabbing on his ears. You let that joker go, and he going to be ready to grab hold of the hand that held him. And who wants that? Who wants that? It says, the Telugu compares such interference to a monkey holding a snake in his paws. Said it's hard to hold him. Can you imagine trying to hold a snake? And a monkey at that, trying to hold a snake. It's hard to hold him and dangerous to let him go. Because when you holding him, he probably feels like you are intermeddling in his business, because he's just down there snaking and minding his business. Then you want to come and grab him and hold him. And he like, wait, what's going on? So when you let him go, he probably going to bite you. When you is out there and you is interfering and intermingling in people's business, you never know how it's going to turn out. I remember being told when I was younger, as much as you want to interfere in domestic violence, you might want to think on that thing before you get out there and you interfere, because it's highly possible that the woman can turn on you. A lot of times women go back. And they be thinking that they're going to make it worse on themselves if you get out there interfering, so they get the help and the hand that strikes them. I said that about the Cincinnati brawl and the woman that interjected. If that won't, like grabbing a dog's ears, I don't know what is. Like, you went out there and I didn't really see her video, but it said that there was video that caught her throwing blows. So that was all. If she was throwing blows, that's like you was jumping in it. You was jumping in all of that melee, lady. Instead of sitting back and you want the people charged that didn't call, when you could have just sat back and called. You could have been the one that caused the coppers. And now your boo is being charged with disorderly conduct, and they are trying to press, because I went silent the other day. So I'm just going over some things that happened because I went silent the other day. I answered a phone call, and then the phone call froze my live. When I came back and was able to get the live from unfrozen, once I went in to start editing, I realized that it muted the rest of the live. But my chat never came in and told me that, though. So, yeah, that's that. But there are faith leaders in Cincinnati that are wanting his charges to be upgraded. And I'm hoping that his charges are upgraded as well, because that was simply not disorderly conduct. Somebody, I was on the comment, because I posted a thread saying that his charges should be upgraded. Somebody came on the comment and was like, he should at least be charged with simple assault. I could deal with simple assault, because it was assault. That wasn't disorderly conduct. He put his hands on somebody. Anytime you put your hands on somebody, it is assault. Where do we get this disorderly conduct from? Where they do that at? How you changing charges how you see fit? What was disorderly about his conduct? What do you have to tap a person to a certain feeling before it becomes assault? Y'all got some nice, good, cold and frozen water. Excuse me, y'all. It had to come around the ice. Like, it's different when it's a big chunk of ice in there. I forgot I had it in the freezer. But, like, how is that disorderly conduct? He was out there kicking vehicles that people were out there to make money off of. That young man was out there renting his vehicles out. I don't know if he had Turo vehicles. I don't know what was going on, but he was out there renting his vehicles out, and you decided you wanted to kick the vehicles. Now, let's sit up on this sex-less marriage for a little while. Because this has come, it says that you want to be careful before you act and intermeddle into others' issues. And I don't really consider myself intermeddling because I was married. And I can speak to this issue from that vantage point. I asked 2 people that are single. One of them was married as well. One of them has never been married. How do you feel about women withholding sex from their husbands? The one that has never been married said it's a setup. I was like, what in the world do you mean it's a setup? She said, that's never right. She said, why would you want to do that? He's just going to go out and find him some other. Let's say straight off the gate. She didn't say that if you do give him some all the time that he is not apt to cheat. One thing don't particularly have anything to do with another. But this subject has continued to come back to me. And that's what made me want to speak on it. I was binge watching the Married to Medicine, young ladies. I'm done at this point. But Jackie and her husband went through a thing before Curtis, and my girlfriend, the one that was married, I'm sorry, she concurred. She doesn't think that that's supposed to be how things are handled in a marriage. She doesn't think you're supposed to just withhold sex. And these women were withholding sex because they were tired. This is that thing when I be talking about being. This is it. This is it. When we just want them to bend. So Curtis had been saying to Jackie almost all of the season, maybe 2. I just want to spend some time with you. I just want to spend some time with you. I just want to spend. It became a broken record because she kept telling him how busy she was as a doctor. Eugene went in as a male doctor to say, I understand, Jackie. Yes, we are that busy. But on the same token, I'm a married man. And when my wife says, because the wife will say it too. And that's why I always have to say, think about it from the other viewpoint. And when my wife says that she wants to spend time with me, I find the time to make the time to spend with my wife. So if we just want to say that she was right, she busy. So is Eugene. So is Eugene. And you can beg the question whether an OBGYN is busier than an ER doctor or not. But at some point, Eugene began to run the ER. So he was the head, which means that he probably had to see those patients and oversee the other doctors that were there. And he still knew that he had to make time for his wife. Now, Jackie continued to say she was busy. Simone, we talking about Jackie because Cecil was never said to cheat. It was just an emotional connection with a friend. That Simone, but I know a married couple that said that she would never tell her husband not to have a friend, nor can he tell her not to have a friend. So much of this is to each his own. But that not spending time with your spouse when they're asking for your time, because that's what Cecil and Curtis had in common, asking for their wives' time and their wives being too busy and too tired, and that being their excuse being good enough. I know someone personally who has spoke on withholding from their husband, and I had my questions about that as well. I'm always going to have my questions about it, because my question is, if you're withholding sex from your husband, and I say that I know this story because I used to be married and I did not withhold sex from my husband, and he was wilding. He was wilding. And all I could do was pray. He is my ex-husband at this point. But while we were married, I did not withhold from him. I also can tell you of another woman that is married. That was my former first lady. We had like a little round table at church. She and the pastor were up on the platform. He didn't preach that Sunday, and they had conversation about that. And she, at that point, this was years ago, that she never withholds from her husband, regardless of what has gone on. If they've argued, me and my ex-husband used to argue. If he wanted some, I gave him. But what I'm also going to always ask is, especially if you feel like you with a good man, Savannah. If you feel like you is with a good man, Savannah, and you withholding from him, is he just never supposed to ever have sex? Because somebody said they don't care how long they withhold from him. So you could be with the person forever and ever and ever and not give them none, and you never expect for this man. So do you expect for him to get blue around the parts? Like, but Curtis wound up out there. Had him a little young tenderoni. My girlfriend said that she didn't think that they ever had intercourse. I don't know. But it caused a rift in his marriage. It caused a rift. And on that reunion show, before he showed up with the little young tenderoni, Jackie made a comment about if she couldn't make him happy, she hoped somebody else could. I ain't saying any of that is a reason or a right to go out and find another woman. Please never try to put words in my mouth. I ain't calling right wrong. I ain't calling wrong right. But if I ain't going to call his right wrong and his wrong right, I ain't going to call ours either, ladies. You said if somebody make you happy. And then the next season, that was a reunion show. And then the next season, it's all over the papers. It's all over the papers. Curtis done went out there and found him a young tenderoni. And at some point, Toya said to her, because you won't spend no time with him. And Jackie was like, so you trying to make this my fault. One thing for sure and two things for certain, after they was able to resolve it and bring themselves back to a place, and even when they were having talks trying to get back to a place, it was as if she was skipping over. Because we just want to say y'all wrong for cheating, but skipping over the fact that Toya said it. He was asking you for some time. So there was something in your marriage that wasn't up to par. But because the lesser of two evils, you don't want to address that. You didn't want to address it before he went out there in the streets. You don't want to address it during. And now on this last season, he said you at a yellow light. Which means he had to tell her again, you slipping back into your old ways. We're not spending no time together. I'm saying this to you. But if we think that it's okay to withhold from a man, especially if we can't name nothing that he is doing that is not up to par with him being a good man, we are absolutely, positively not right. We're not right. I don't care how we want to look at it. We are not right, ladies. Period. We're not right. Call it how you want to. Disagree with me if you want to, but I want you to tell me where I'm wrong. If you think it's okay to withhold from him, and this is a good man, and a good man is determined by you staying. If you don't think he a good man, why you there? You can't change people. Tasha K said it best. We supposed to let people be who they are. If you met someone this way and you dated someone this way and you chose to marry a person and y'all had talks about the fact that they was going to do better, words are just words. Y'all know what that saying say? Y'all know what that saying say. Action speaks louder than words. So if they didn't show you a thing and you married them anywho, and then expected they were just going to change, woe to you. And that will go to either way, either or sex, either or gender. Woe to you. So let's talk about these parental obligations and these daddies and baby daddies and things, because I was on Instagram. And it's the fight, Dawn. Y'all know, look, I went in his inbox because I had I was watching the video and I was inside the library, and then I'm walking. You know, I'm a little bit like something like handed capable right now. So I'm walking on my little walker and I got my phone in my hand and I'm trying to keep the video open, and I mess around and refresh Instagram, and then the video is gone. So I'm like, oh my goodness, let me go to Fight Dawn's page because I want to find this video. And so not only is reading fundamental, but paying attention to detail and just doing a little bit of research. And I do my research. I didn't really do my research on there because it was the 4th video down. So before I looked at the 4th video down, I went into his inbox and I was like, Fight Dawn, sir, I don't even know if you come into your inbox and check your inbox and things to see what people say, but I'm trying to find the video that I was watching. I would go in and I describe the video and everything like that, and I can't find it. And I go back out there and I see that it's the 4th video down. I go back into the DMs. I'm like, oops, I didn't look good enough. So I go back into the video, and so this young man and this young woman, they was together for like 15 years or so, and so they're not together anymore. And so he comes over to the house and he brings his baby some jeans, it looked like, and some new sneakers, and he's like, this for our baby. And she's like, well, where's the stuff for the other children? And he's like, what you mean the stuff for the other children? I ain't bring nothing for them. Why you ain't bring nothing for them and you brought something for him? That remind me of that food, that McDonald's and all that stuff like that. And even if these things are skits, they're teachable moments, because things like this do happen. So he's like, nah, she's like, you was taking care of them for 15 years and now you just gonna stop taking care of them? He was like, we're not a family anymore. I don't live here anymore. So what? That don't mean you stop taking care of them. Look, I got other obligations. You don't got no other children. And all of this, I'm thinking to myself, where is the baby daddies? Where is they baby daddies? And why you not fussing at them because they don't bring their children no things and stuff? Why? Because you didn't do no helpful self-examination before you laid down and had those babies with those baby daddies, and now them just some absent baby daddies and stuff like that, and now you want to put all the weight on him. And I understand. He was there for 15 years. He was taking care of for 15 years. And our emotions would want it that he would take care of them for the rest of their lives. And it was people on the comments talking about, but he the dad. He been the dad. He not the dad. He not the dad. And guess what my comment was? Because, let me just tell you. He said, I now have to pay my bills because I had to go get another house. I have to take care of our son. And if your light bill or something like that is lacking, I got to give you money for that too. He said, I will do for them what I want, when I want. He never said he won't doing for them. He said, I don't have to do for them every time I come to do for my son. It's a whole nother schematic of things now because for whatever reason, y'all are not together anymore. And he is not just paying bills at your house, but it seems as though he's still paying bills at your house. But now he's paying all of his bills at his house. Guess what? Nobody wants to get married. Nobody wants to get married. Because the marriage bed would have made him legally obligated for those babies. And he might not have liked it because he intermingled. He intermingled on somebody else's business because them were somebody else's babies. And when you moved in there and you started wooing their mama and everything like that, you took on them babies for 15 years. And now you were paying the cost to be the boss because she is yapping in your ear. And she can't make you do it. She can't make you. I don't think there's a law about common law fathers. I don't think. I didn't go in and do that research. But this man has no legal obligation to take care of your children once you break up. And again, I'll say, was there helpful self-examination done to see that once you got out of this relationship, because that young lady on that post where that girl was like, don't be moving in with your boyfriend. She was like, I ain't marrying nobody without moving in. So this is a 15-year relationship. There was no marriage. They just moved in. And now she's sitting up here wondering why her babies can't get taken care of no more that they broken up. See, Auntie just be trying to tell you some wisdom. Tell you to go think about these things prior to. All too often, we want to think about these things in the aftermath. We don't want to think about who we are particularly about to lay down with to produce babies with beforehand. We want to talk about who we have laid down with and produced babies with afterhand. And we can keep walking down that road, traveling down that their highway if we like. But who is paying? Because now the babies have to watch their brother get things and stuff that they no longer get. I don't know why they broke up. I don't know why they broke up. But they broke up. Now the babies are having to watch their brother get things that they no longer get on a regular basis because they broke up. And there was no legal, because we be in our emotions and feeling good and everything, and it working out the way that we feel like it should work out. It's hard to get something as far as common law marriages are concerned. How much more? I'm probably going to do the research on common law parenting. We must think ahead, ladies. We cannot just keep blaming it on fathers because we choose to lay down. I don't care if we was drunk and we lay down. I don't care if we was high as a kite and we lay down. You chose to get drunk and lay down. You chose to get high as a kite and lay down. You chose to be in trauma and lay down. We choose. And if we think that it's okay that we keep choosing, we're going to keep coming down these same, it's going to be Groundhog's Day for us all the days of our life. If you ain't never seen the movie Groundhog's Day, you may just want to go watch it. And I say it about the Most High God all the time. God will continue to allow you to go through the same thing. That was Groundhog, he kept waking up and everything was the same because insanity set in. You kept trying to do the same thing thinking you were going to get a different result. Healing, work Those are some good words to throw out there to you, Savannah. Those are good words, Savannah. If we don't want to do that, we're going to keep wondering why we've been in a relationship for 15 years and now he don't want to take care of all the children. All the children that don't even belong to them. Didn't y'all know I did that video about the stepdads, and men think other men are crazy for wanting to be stepdads. And I don't particularly feel that way. But I do understand, because I've had some effective communication about it. I understand why men feel that way. The stepdad really don't. They get the short end of the stick a lot of times. And there are great, that's not to say there are not great stepdads out there. There are. But a lot of times stepdads get the short end of the stick. And this he wasn't even a stepdad, because you can't be a stepdad until you're married. That's why when the person came up there and was like he was their dad, no, he won't. No, he won't. He was a stand-in. He was of no biological or legal relation to either of those children that were not his. Neither. But nobody wants to get married. So think on those things when you don't want to get married. The whole goal is to think on some things. Ponder. Sylvia just be wanting y'all to ponder. Sauce. Sylvia just be wanting y'all to ponder. So, we done talked about. What did we talk about? We done talked about Snoop Dogg and his grandson. We talked about Tasha K and her son. We talked about that crazy that just felt like it was okay for him to be harassing and then assaulting a man in a wheelchair. We done talked about them sex-less marriages, and we done talked about these baby daddies that owe you no obligation. Because y'all just be wanting to move in and have babies and pretend like you're a married couple and just think that you're going to get the benefits of what a married couple would get in the end. Hello, beautiful. Sylvie just be wanting y'all to ponder. Marriage is marriage, and it comes with legal rights and ramifications. And when you're not married and you get into these relationships, and especially when you produce babies, and especially when you produce babies with multiple men, you may get the short end of the stick while you're expecting one man to do everything for all your babies because he may have, or while you're mad that the man that is supposed to be there for your babies is not. Yes, beautiful, we can be mad, but if we are not thinking about who we are laying down with before we lay down, we deal with who we have produced with after the fact. I promise you, Sylvie loves you, beautiful. And I am out. Yes, Lord, that felt like talking to nobody in the room right there. Ain't not one chat came there.